Hi guys, first of all thank you for watching my videos, and here is another video on Tech with Shakul. So amongst all the feedbacks that I received from the friends and families, the most common one was to get a shave, but one interesting question that came was that Shakul, I understood what is client server and all that request is getting handled, and I understand your mailman concept that there is someone who's actually listening to my request and answering to it, but who does that for me on the internet? And most importantly, how all these client servers are getting managed over this vast network of distributed devices. So which got me to thinking that this question, that how internet is managed, it has stumbled me for a long time, and it might have stumbled you as a tech geek. I think you might have also pondered about this. So today we'll discuss about how internet works, and more importantly, who manages it. So let's say this is you sitting on a laptop and you want to access youtube.com, our favorite website, and you want to see Tanmay's latest vlog. Okay, so you entered youtube.com, and so this request, because you are connected to internet through a router, this request is forwarded to what is called an ISP. What is an ISP? ISP is an internet service provider. So in my condition, it is my situation, it is Airtel. It might be a Tata connection or a Jio connection or an ACT FiberNet connection for you guys. So internet service provider is basically the guy who's providing internet at your house. Okay. So ISP is a guy who sends out this request to the server for which this request was made for, like youtube.com. So ISP is doing that task for me. Okay, how does it do that? So ISP has something called DNS. Now what is a DNS? DNS is domain name system. Now to explain this, I'll give you an example. So let's say you have an iPhone and you said Siri, hey Siri, call mom. So what Siri can do is, it can straight out send a request to the cellular network, call mom. Now this request won't be answered because mom is not recognized by the cellular network. It recognizes only numbers. Now even if they recognize it, moms can be, there can be a lot of moms, right? So you can't answer that request based on just mom. So what Siri does is, it looks into the contact registry, the contacts you have saved, and it's look, okay, this is a mom's number. So it comes out to a 10-digit number. That is a unique identifier for your mom. Okay, this number is unique. This combination of numbers is unique for your mom. So it sends request with this number, and that's how you get connected. So similarly over here also, this DNS, what it is a website to IP mapping. Now what is an IP? IP is an IP address. So everything on the internet has an IP address, every resource. By resource I mean a device, a website, a web page, a YouTube video, anything on the internet, any resource on the internet has an IP assigned to it. Now we'll do another video which tells you about what is IP and what is public IP and private IP, but for now IP is a unique identifier which distinguishes my website youtube.com, specifically that video, and gives an IP to this. So now if you see this IP is 216.58.221.46. How I know it? You just need to do a simple ping on your command prompt on your Windows desktop. So do a ping youtube.com and you'll know that this is the IP. So okay, now I understood what is happening. The YouTube request that I'm sending gets to the ISP and it looks into the DNS. Okay, this is the IP that I'm looking for, and it sends out the request to this IP. Okay, got it. So it reached the server. But Shakul, didn't you tell me that this server can be located anywhere in the world? Yes. As a matter of fact, the YouTube server is located in US Seattle. So how does anything from ISP Gandhinagar office in Ghaziabad reaches US Seattle? So they won't let anyone, something from Ghaziabad enter US building, I think so, but how is this request getting entered into that? How is this happening? Okay, so you want me to explain what is the medium of travel. Medium of transport. So there are basically three mediums. One is the electrical signals, second is the light signals, and third one is radio waves. Okay, So by electrical there's a cable which has electrical wires in it, and the data is transferred as digital and analog signals in zeros and ones, and this electrical cable you all might have heard about LAN wires. So this is nothing but your Ethernet cable wire. Now light is where it gets interesting. Now light is basically a fiber optic channel made up of glass. So this thing is made up of glass, and whenever you send a signal, and data is sent through in the forms of light pulses. Now whenever you send a signal, due to total internal reflection, it travels throughout the chamber and it reaches in the speed of the light. Okay, so I understood what is light. Now radio waves. So you might have heard about Wi-Fi routers. You might not, you are using it, right? You have heard about Wi-Fi routers and how your mobile gets connected to a router. So that happens using radio waves. Data is transmitted through these radio waves, and that's how it reaches the router. Now this is too much information to handle, and I can't understand how my data is getting transferred to electrical, light and radio signals at one time. So let me just break it out for you. Suppose this is you here, standing here, and this is your friend. Now you need to send a signal from here to here. You are connected by an electrical wire here. You have a light bulb over here, and he also has a similar light bulb. Okay, you are given a switch, and an expression is made that whenever I light this bulb, it means I am sending 1. I am sending the bit 1, and whenever this is off, I am sending a 0. Okay, so whenever as I explained, data is traveled in the form of bits, 1 and zeros, and so whenever I have to send a 1, I'll turn on the light, and whenever I have to send a 0, I'll turn it off. Okay, so that is simple. So I think the problem is solved. But how will I send 5 zeros? How does the other side knows that I am sending 5 zeros? Because 0 is nothing, no signal. So that's where clock speed comes in. Now what is this clock speed? Suppose this communication started, and I started with suppose in this channel I have said that I'll transfer 1 bit at a speed of 1 bit per second. That means one switch on and switch off will happen in 1 second. Okay, so at the first second I switched it on, this light bulb got enlightened, and this one also did the same. So it has received 1 signal. Okay, now in the next second I turned it off, so it knew that this is now 0. In the next second also it remained off, so it knew it's a 0. That's how it counts that for how many seconds I didn't receive anything, so that is a 0. And that's how, if I light it up again, then it's a 1. So that's how information is converted into ones and zeros, and it's passed on. Similarly, if you have a, let's say, a fiber optic channel, and instead of a light you have a laser light, and you switched it on for one time, now the light impulse will travel through this fiber optic and it reaches the next side. In the cases of waves, what happens is difference of frequency does it. So suppose I assign that 1 will be sent at certain frequency f1 and 0 will be sent at certain frequency f0. So suppose I am sending a wave of f0 frequency, that means it's a 0 signal, and suppose I am sending another wave of a different frequency, so this might be f1. So that's how information is transferred from one place to another through all these mediums. So I understood all of that, but still doesn't answer my question, like how I from here can reach to a server in USA. So how does that happen? It happens through electrical or light or radio. Well, it happens through a combination of all of these three. All of these, okay. Let me explain to you how. Now, your computer is connected to the router that you have. This is a Wi-Fi router, is connected to the Wi-Fi router through Ethernet cables, and your phone is connected to the router through radio waves. So this is Ethernet, while this is radio waves. So you are using both of these medium to connect to the router. Now this router is connected to ISP, Internet Service Provider, through some Ethernet cables or fiber optics. Okay, so this is also a cable connection. But now how this ISP is connected to USA server? this is also through fiber optics. So you mean to say that from India to USA, that is across thousands of miles away, there is a fiber optic channel running through the oceans and everything else? Yes, there is. So there is a channel of fiber optics which is laid across the continents so that the communication over the internet can happen. But there is a very funny video uploaded on internet that a shark was trying to bite this channel and it wasn't able to do that. So the next day, the agency that uploaded that video sent out a report that has a heading saying that it's not sharks, it's you. So actually humans and human errors can lead to the destruction of these channels which are laying across continents. So in 2008, in fact, there was an anchor of a ship in the Egyptian port which led to breakage of a channel, and that's why there was a outbreak of internet in most of the Asian countries like India and Singapore and things like that. So that is what happened. So how this so let's say you are connected from one place to another place through fiber optics. If this thing breaks, as I said, it is a network of channels, so there might be another discontinued channel coming from one place to another place. So if this thing goes down, it will go through another route. It will increase the lag or the time delay that is happening in the video, but in the information transfer, but it won't stop it permanently. So that's why internet is never down. It can have a delay or a time delay, but it will never be down. Okay. So moving on to the next thing, which is, you said that all of the signals carry my ones and zeros from one place to another. So suppose I am sending a image which is of 17 MB size from one place to another. So you are saying that all of this happens at a speed of 1 bit per second? No, 1 bit per second is my speed. So if I am sitting on one side and the other port is at another side, so I am sending data at 1 bit per second. But a computer can do it times 8, which is 1 byte, into 1024, that is a megabyte, which is still not a great speed, into 50, which is round about 4 lakh bits per second. That means a computer can on and off a bulb 4 lakh times in a single second. Yes, a machine can do that. But all of this is happening after my 17 MB file is getting broken into ones and zeros and it is going in one shot. Well, not like one shot. What it happens is, suppose you have a aircraft and this is your warehouse where you are making the aircraft and you need to transport it to an airport. Now, how will you do that? One way is to create a medium of transport where all this can be loaded and it can be transported. But that's a tough task, right? Loading an aircraft and building it such big so that it can transfer it in one go. What I'll do is, I'll break down aircraft into different parts and move these parts to the airport. Okay. So similarly, what happens is your 17 MB image is broken down into different, what is called as packets. So this is packet of information. This packet is nothing but your HTTP. I showed you the HTTP object, right? This packet is nothing but the HTTP object, and this contains nothing but ones and zeros. So all of this packet is transferred through electrical, light or radio waves from one place to another place. Okay, I got it. But what happens if these two packets, who manages that these two packets are received from one place to another place? One, because this might have thousands of packets. So if this has thousands of packets, how will you ensure that all the packets are received at the other end? If one or two packets are also lost, my image won't load perfectly, right? One. And second thing is, how are these packets not getting merged to other images? Let's say I sent an image to my father and I also sent a meme to my friend. How does these two images not get mixed with each other? So how does this packet mixing and packet mixing and packet transfer acknowledgement happens. So these two things, who ensures this is happening? So this is where our network protocol comes into picture. So network protocol is nothing but an OSI model. It's a 4 or some people call it 6 layer OSI model, which is agreed upon in the entire world, and everyone follows this model, and this is a 4 layer model. So the first layer is application layer, the second is the TCP layer, then is the IP layer, and then is the network layer. This is also known as the Ethernet layer, and this is the data layer. So I'll take an example of a message being transferred from one place to another place. Suppose you want to send a hi. So this is your data. Now this reaches from this layer to another layer, and this is added with this is your hi message, and this is added with a header. Now what does a header mean? Header is a kind of information which this TCP layer has added to the data so that it can recognize from where this data is coming from and where it is going. It's basically an identifier for this layer to add on. Okay. So then this is passed on to the next layer. For the next layer, the incoming thing is the data for this thing. So this is header, this is hi, this adds another header of its own. So this header is added by the IP layer. Similarly, the network layer adds another header to the already existing headers. This is our message. It adds another header to this. So as you see, there is encapsulation of data going on. We are adding more and more headers to identify this packet, what this packet contains and where it is going in. So now this packet reaches the other end, and the decapsulation or removal of the headers happen in the reverse order. How is this happening in reverse order? Suppose this is your laptop and you sent a hi from the application. So this laptop is connected to the Ethernet. So it is going from the application layer to the network layer. So the encapsulation happens in this order, and when it reaches another site through ISPs or anything else, it enters through the other machine through the Ethernet port. So it enters through the Ethernet port and enters the application. So while entering, it is entering at the bottommost layer. So the decapsulation will happen in the reverse order. Now since this was the last header which was added, I can remove this, right? I can't remove this one first because this is at the starting. So since the decapsulation is happening in the reverse order, I can remove this one. So first this is removed, header 1 is removed, then header 2, then header 3, and finally I get a hi. So this is how the packet transfer is happening. I hope you understood all of this, how the packets are created, how it enters in the electrical and light and radio waves, all of this. And the next time you are sending some message to your friend, make sure it's more important than hi, because a lot of stuff is going on the internet to send it. Thanks a lot.